My beloved brothers and sisters, there are moments when heaven speaks so softly that only the heart tuned to faith can hear. In these times, God is not silent. He is preparing His people. As I prayed, a word stirred within my spirit, a message that must be spoken. After October 20, 2025, I will begin to reveal what has been hidden. I will separate the ordinary from the chosen, the faint-hearted from the faithful. A God is not bound by calendars, but He moves in seasons. There is a divine timing that man cannot alter. The season after October 20 is not one of fear. It is one of awakening. The Lord says, I am shaking what can be shaken, so that what cannot be shaken may remain. Those who have built their faith on sand will see it crumble, but those whose foundation is the rock will rise with new strength. Some of you have prayed long, waited long, and wept in silence. Heaven has heard you. The pain you carried was not in vain. God says, the delay was not denial. It was preparation. For in the days ahead, He will move swiftly. Doors that were locked will open without effort. Seemed impossible will be released suddenly. But you must be ready, pure in heart, steadfast in faith, and unshaken in trust. After October 20, there will be signs, unusual alignments, both in the heavens and in human hearts. People will sense a pull toward repentance, a hunger for truth. Nations will tremble not because of war, because of the weight of God's presence returning to the earth. The Spirit of the Lord will search the hearts of men. Those who humble themselves will be lifted higher than they imagine. Yet, God also warns, do not chase after fear or false voices. My word is not confusion, it is peace. Many will speak, but few will carry my spirit. Listen not to noise, but to the still small voice within your soul. If you walk closely with me, you will discern truth from deception, peace from panic. The coming season is not just a change of time, it is a change of atmosphere. Those who sowed in tears will reap in joy. Those who were overlooked will be seen. Those who lost hope will find it again, not in man's promise, but in God's power. So lift up your eyes, beloved. Strengthen your faith. Heart, forgive quickly. Love deeply. For the Lord is moving in ways unseen, preparing His people for a greater outpouring of His Spirit. God says, I will do a new thing, for it will spring forth suddenly. After October 20, you will know that I am the Lord your God, faithful, unchanging, and full of mercy. Be ready, stay in prayer, walk in faith. And when the world shakes, stand firm, because those who trust in the Lord will never be moved. After October 20, 2025, God will separate the ordinary from the chosen, not to punish. Prepare. These words carry a divine weight that cannot be measured by human understanding. They are not a warning of destruction, but a whisper of destiny. God is calling His people into a season of distinction, a moment when light and shadow will no longer blend. There comes a time when heaven draws a line between those who merely believe and those who are willing to live what they believe, between those who walk by sight and those who walk by faith alone. The world is full of believers in name, but God is seeking believers in heart. When God speaks of separation, it is never to cast away, it is to lift up. He removes what no longer serves His purpose, so that what remains can shine brighter. Like a refiner separating gold from impurities, He's preparing hearts that will carry His fire in the days ahead. Many have lived in the comfort of being ordinary, living in routine prayers, in shallow faith, in moments of convenience rather than commitment. But this season will awaken those who dare to say, Lord, I am ready for more. The ordinary will fade when divine purpose arises. Those who have relied on the strength of the flesh will find their power failing, while those who depend on the Spirit will soar. This separation will not be visible in outward appearance, but in inward transformation. God is preparing a people who will not bow to fear when the world trembles, who will not compromise truth when deception increases. He is raising a remnant that will stand firm even when the winds of change blow fiercely. These are not extraordinary by human standards. They are ordinary men and women made extraordinary by obedience. When God begins to separate, confusion may appear to reign. Some will lose positions they thought were secure. Some will see relationships end, doors close, or opportunities vanish. But what looks like loss is divine rearrangement. Never removes without reason. Every separation carries within it the seed of elevation. The pruning is not punishment, it is preparation. Just as a gardener cuts branches not to destroy the tree, but to make it fruitful, so does God cut away what hinders His plan. Those who understand this will not resist the process. They will let go of the old to receive the new. The chosen ones are not those who strive for visibility, but those who surrender in humility. The separation God is bringing is not between believers and unbelievers only. It is within the hearts of believers themselves. The lukewarm will be stirred to choose. The comfortable will be shaken to awaken. God is saying, I am calling forth those who will carry my fire without fear. The days after October 20 will reveal hearts more clearly than words ever could. When the winds of testing come, the difference between the ordinary and the chosen will not be in what they say, but in how they stand. The ordinary will complain, the chosen will pray. The ordinary will panic, the chosen will praise. The ordinary will run to safety, the chosen will run to the secret place. The ordinary will see trouble, the chosen will see opportunity. Is looking for hearts that do not crumble under pressure, but become stronger because of it. In this season, the chosen will not be chosen because of talent, title, or education. They will be chosen because of their response to the call. God looks not at what a person can do, but at what they are willing to yield. He uses the humble to confound the wise, the broken to heal the world, the weak to display his strength. After October 20, many who were ignored will be noticed by heaven. Unknown names will rise as chosen vessels. The spotlight of favor will move, and those who have hidden themselves in prayer will suddenly be revealed as instruments of his purpose. This divine separation is also a purification. God is cleansing motives, refining desires, and testing faith. Many have prayed for revival, but are not ready for refinement. Yet revival begins in the heart that allows God to separate flesh from spirit, pride from purity, and performance from purpose. The chosen will go through fire, not because God is angry, because he trusts them to endure. Fire never destroys gold, it only reveals its true value. The ordinary may escape the fire, but they also miss the glory that comes after it. In this process, patience will be tested. The chosen ones will learn that divine timing cannot be rushed. Some will wonder why God is silent, why promises seem delayed. But the Lord says, I am working in the silence to build your strength. The chosen understand that waiting is not wasting. They know that every moment of stillness is shaping them for what is to come. Late, he is aligning. When the separation is complete, the chosen will emerge ready to carry burdens others could not, ready to speak words others feared, ready to shine where darkness has prevailed. After October 20, new opportunities will arise for those whose hearts have been purified. God will open unexpected paths, but they will not be easy paths. The chosen are not called to comfort, they are called to courage. They will face opposition, but they will also see miracles. When they speak, their words will carry authority because they have been tested in the furnace of faith. They will walk through storms and still praise, and that praise will shake foundations. The separation will also expose false confidence. Many who once trusted in wealth, status, or influence will find those things failing. God is teaching that true security lies only in him. The chosen will not fear lack, for they have learned to depend on his provision. They will not fear change, for they have seen his faithfulness in every season. When the world panics, they will walk in peace. When others despair, they will declare hope. Their strength will not come from the world, but from the Word. This divine distinction is not about pride, it is about purpose. God does not favor one person over another, but he favors obedience over apathy. The chosen are simply those who said yes when others hesitated. They are the ones who trust when logic says stop, who give when circumstances say save, who forgive when hurt says hold on. They walk in a realm the ordinary cannot understand because they have surrendered their will to the will of God. There will be a fresh outpouring of wisdom among the chosen. Dreams and visions will increase, clarity will return, and divine instructions will be heard in the quiet hours of prayer. These people will move not by human plans, but by heavenly direction. They will not chase platforms, platforms will find them. They will not chase blessings, blessings will follow them. God will position them where they are needed most. Places of darkness, confusion, and despair, so that their light can shine. The ordinary will watch and wonder how such transformation happened. They will not see the nights of weeping or the secret battles fought in silence. But heaven saw it all. Every tear was counted, every prayer recorded, every act of faith noted. That is why, in this next season, divine rewards will manifest, not according to human measure, but according to heaven's record. The chosen will rise not because they are better, but because they were willing to believe when others doubted. When God separates, he does not abandon those who remain behind. Even the ordinary are loved, but love sometimes requires correction. The separation is also an invitation, a chance for those who have drifted to return, for those who slept to awaken, for those who feared to step forward. God's heart is not to divide his people, but to refine them. He longs for every heart to burn again with first love, to speak again with power, every soul to live again with purpose. There will be moments when the chosen feel alone, misunderstood, or opposed. That loneliness is not punishment. It is training. God isolates before he elevates. When he called Abraham, he told him to leave his homeland. When he called Moses, he sent him to the wilderness. When he called David, he hid him among sheep. Every separation prepares for elevation. The chosen must not mistake solitude for abandonment. God is closer in the quiet than in the crowd. After October 20, when the line becomes clear, the chosen must remain humble. For to whom much is given, much will be required. They are called not to boast, but to serve, dominate, but to demonstrate love. The true mark of being chosen is not power, it is compassion. The world will recognize them not by their words, but by their works, by their fame, but by their fruit. They will be living testimonies of God's grace in a shaking world. This is the season when heaven redefines greatness. Will no longer be measured by followers or fame, but by faithfulness. God is saying, I am raising those who will build my kingdom, not their name. The chosen will carry peace where there is chaos, hope where there is despair, and healing where there is hurt. Their presence will shift atmospheres because they walk with divine authority born from intimacy. And when the world looks back on this season, they will see that it was not a time of destruction but of divine transition. The shaking revealed the strong, the storms revealed the steadfast, the separation revealed the sincere. The chosen will emerge purified, prepared, and positioned for a new wave of God's movement across the earth. They will not just survive, they will lead love and lift others into faith. Do not fear the separation that follows October 20. Do not mourn what God removes. Rejoice in what he reveals. For those who trust him will see that every closed door, every silent season, every tear-stained prayer was part of a greater preparation. God is not punishing, he is preparing. And when his work is done, the world will know who walked with him, who listened when others ignored, and who stood when others fell. Those are the chosen, the ones who turned ordinary days into holy encounters and ordinary faith into extraordinary fire. The delay was never denial, it was preparation for sudden release and unseen blessings. These words carry a truth that pierces through the confusion of waiting. So often, when our prayers linger unanswered and our dreams seem suspended in time, we begin to question if God has forgotten. But heaven's silence is never neglect. Every delay in God's kingdom hides divine design. What looks like stillness to man is often strategy in the mind of God. He is not withholding, he is arranging. The path to fulfillment is often paved with waiting, because waiting builds what receiving requires. When God delays, it is not to discourage, but to develop. He works in the unseen while we wrestle in the seen. Every unanswered prayer, every postponed promise, every closed door has a purpose written into it. Is not interested in giving you what you ask for too early, because premature blessings can destroy what immature hearts cannot handle. He waits until faith is strong enough, deep enough, and obedience rooted enough to carry the weight of the answer. The delay is not about punishment, it is about preparation. You are being shaped while you wait. The waiting season is heaven's workshop. There are things that can only grow in the soil of patience. The seed of destiny must stay buried before it can bloom. If God had released everything when you first prayed, you would have rejoiced for a moment and then struggled under the weight of what you were not yet ready to hold. He withholds not to harm, but to help. The delay is God's mercy disguised as time. He uses it to prune pride, to strengthen trust, to purify motives. Many want the promise, but few want the process. Yet it is the process that protects the promise. When you learn to wait without complaint, to serve without reward, to believe without evidence, then you are being prepared for sudden release. God's timing is always perfect, though rarely predictable. He hides his schedule so we learn to live by faith, not by forecast. You may not see movement, but that does not mean nothing is moving. Just as a seed grows in darkness, your answer is growing in places you cannot see. You may think God is silent, but silence is not absence. Sometimes the greatest evidence of his presence is that he is quiet while working behind the scenes. You pray and nothing happens. You push forward and doors remain closed. Yet all along, he is aligning people, positioning opportunities, and protecting you from what could destroy your destiny. Look at the stories woven through Scripture. Delay was the mark of destiny. Joseph was delayed in prison before he ruled in the palace. David was delayed in the fields before he reigned in the kingdom. Abraham waited decades before holding his promised son. The delay did not deny them, it defined them. God was not late. He was aligning. If Joseph had been released early, he would have missed Pharaoh's dream. If David had been crowned too soon, he would have ruled without character. If Abraham had received too quickly, his faith would have remained shallow. The delay carved out the space for maturity, for patience, for power to grow. The same is true today. When life feels paused, heaven is not idle. The waiting season is the testing season. God measures how you handle nothing before He gives you something. He watches your response in the wilderness to see if you're ready for the promised land. If you worship only when it's easy, you're not ready for breakthrough. If you praise only when blessings flow, you're not prepared for sudden release. True readiness is proven when you can still lift your hands while waiting, still trust when you cannot trace, still believe when you cannot see. In the unseen layers of time, God is crafting the connections that will carry your calling. The people who will help you are being prepared even as you wait. Some are being refined in their own seasons so that when your paths cross, both of you will be ready. God allowed your blessing earlier. It might have collided with someone else's unpreparedness. But in His infinite wisdom, He waits until everything aligns. You are not waiting alone. Your miracle is also waiting for you to be ready. Heaven moves in harmony, and delay is often the sound of that harmony forming. It is easy to grow weary in the wait. There are whispers that maybe the promise was imagined, that perhaps you misheard God. Yet the same God who spoke the promise will sustain it. He is not a man that He should lie, nor a human that He should forget. Every word from His mouth carries life, and life cannot die. Even when your hope feels faint, the word within you still breathes. God allows the waiting not to make you question Him, but to make you know Him deeper. When the answer finally arrives, you will not only rejoice in what you received, you will revere the one who sustained you through the wait. And when it happens, it will happen suddenly. The mystery of divine timing. The same doors that resisted you for years will open in a single day. The opportunities that seemed impossible will appear overnight. What once felt distant will draw near like a flood. God's releases are often sudden because His preparations are silent. The world will call it luck, but you will know it was the Lord. Every tear, every prayer, every sleepless night was part of the unseen construction of your blessing. You waited while others ran ahead, but when your time comes, you will go farther than you could have imagined. There are blessings that cannot be seen until you have been delayed. You see, blessing is not only in what you receive, but in what you become while waiting. The waiting transforms you. It teaches endurance, sharpens discernment, and deepens humility. When the answer finally comes, you will handle it with gratitude instead of pride, with reverence instead of recklessness. God's goal is not just to give you the blessing, but to make you a vessel worthy of it. The longer the wait, the greater the capacity. He stretches you through patience so you can hold more of His purpose. Sometimes the blessing you prayed for changes while you wait. God uses time to reshape your desires to match His will. You might have asked for one thing, but by the time the answer comes, you will realize He gave you something better. The delay gave Him space to align your heart with heaven. What seemed like disappointment becomes divine redirection. God never denies a heart that seeks Him. He only denies what would destroy that heart. His delay is a shield of mercy. When the release comes, it will carry acceleration. What you lost in years will be restored in moments. God redeems time for those who trust His timing. The chosen who endure delay will not enter the promise limping. They will enter running. He will make up for every tear, every setback, every lonely night. The blessing will not trickle, it will pour. For those who kept believing when nothing moved, He will release what eyes have not seen and ears have not heard. The world will ask, it happened so fast, and you will answer, it took years to become an overnight miracle. This truth must sink deep. Delay is not God ignoring you. It is God investing in you. While you wait, He is working in the unseen corners of your character. He is teaching you to depend not on outcomes, but on intimacy. Many chase answers. Few chase the answerer. But those who wait faithfully discover that the greatest blessing was never the promise fulfilled. It was the presence found along the way. Waiting refines love. It separates those who seek God's hand from those who seek His heart. In the stillness of delay, worship becomes purer. Prayer becomes deeper. Faith becomes unshakable. The same stillness that feels empty is actually full of growth. Heaven often works like the womb, concealed, silent, sacred. You cannot see the life forming. When the appointed time arrives, what was hidden will be born. The delay is the gestation of greatness. You are not behind, you are being built. The enemy often tries to use delay as deception. He whispers that God has forgotten, that others have gone ahead, that your season has passed. But faith answers back, though it tarry, wait for it will surely come. God's timing may seem strange, but it is never wrong. He may not come when you want Him, but when He comes, everything changes. The waiting season will end in such a way that you will look back and say, now I understand. And when your blessing arrives, it will carry a fragrance of the wait. Others will see your joy but not your journey. They will admire your harvest but not know the tears that watered it. You will smile not only because of what you received, but because of what you learned, that God's silence is sacred, His timing is trustworthy, and His plan is perfect. So if you are waiting, hold your ground. Do not let impatience rob you of preparation. Do not let discouragement steal your discipline. Keep praying even when you hear nothing. Keep serving even when unseen. Keep believing even when delayed. Because one day soon what was delayed will be delivered. And when it comes, you will know it was worth every moment of waiting. God is not slow, He is strategic. The same hands that seemed still are now arranging your release. Every second of delay has been constructing the blessing beyond what you imagine. Suddenly, phone will ring. Suddenly, the door will open. Suddenly, the answer will appear. Suddenly, the pain will make sense. Suddenly, you will realize that delay was not denial. It was divine preparation for a blessing so great, you had to grow into it. And when that moment comes, gratitude will overflow. You will thank God not only for what He gave, but for how long He took. Because now you see that the waiting was the making. The delay was not an obstacle. It was the architect of your destiny. God was never late. He was preparing you for something only maturity could handle. And when He finally releases it, you will understand why it had to take this long, why the silence was necessary, and why the blessing is greater than you ever dreamed.